There's an episode of Star Trek where Spock says, having isn't the same as wanting. Hi, I'm James, and this is my take on reality. In this episode, we're going to be talking about Shaida and her desire to have a child, and how that desire is not the same thing as actually having a child. Now, before we get started, I would ask that if you're not subscribed, you consider subscribing. It helps the channel out, it helps me out, and who doesn't want to hit the HBO special? So go ahead and help a brother out, hit the subscribe button, I'd appreciate it. Thanks. Now let's get it. From the very beginning and from the very time that we met Shaida on the show way back on 90 Day Fiance, Shaida has always wanted a child. She's always presented to Bilal that she wanted to be a mother. Let's take a look at this clip.
So Bilal, on the topic of children, I just hope your children look forward to being like brother and sister to younger one. You know, I've been thinking about it a lot lately, ever since I turned 37. I was just thinking, when that time comes, I hope your children will be able to adjust.
I just think that, this is a bigger conversation definitely for us to have,
And it's a topic you keep avoiding.
Shaida, she's like all about children. When she wants to have children, like yesterday, she'll send me some random DM of a little baby, like, oh, she's so cute. And I'll just respond usually like, that's cool. I'm getting to a certain stage in life now where children are getting older. I'm getting older, unfortunately. So having more children, it's not like 100% no, but it's definitely not like a yes.
We will continue the conversation on children.
Yeah, we'll talk.
We'll talk.
Now, as mentioned in the clip, there are really two subject matters that Bilal absolutely would not address and talk about during the time when he was actually communicating with Shaida and throughout their 2-year relationship. Those two topics were where he lived and what his house looked like, and whether he wanted children or not. Now, if you are talking to somebody and they say, I really, 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 really want children because I really, 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 really want to be a mama or a daddy, and you say, I don't know if I really want to talk about it, then you're leaving the door open that they might be able to change your mind and that you might actually go along with them. When you've been those 2 years talking to her back and forth on the cell phone and on video chat and all that, and you every day you guys call each other husband and wife because after you went out there, that 7 days you spent out there, you decided you were going to get a spiritual marriage and you proposed to her so you could have a legal marriage. Then of course the 1-9 hit, and then once the pandemic hit, you guys couldn't get together and finalize your plan, so you had to wait 2 years. And during the course of that 2 years, you actually had these conversations and you had planned to get married and you were talking about getting married, and she wants to talk about kids and you don't want to talk about kids, so you avoid the subject. Then what you're telling her when you bring her to the country, you initiate the K-1 visa, you eventually marry her, is that if she set it up that she wants to have a family and make kids, then you are agreeing to that. If you don't come out and say right off top, I don't want kids, this is not what I want, then you're making a mistake. At the time of filming, I think back when you were shooting the 90 Day Fiance episodes, your oldest child was 16. Your youngest child was 13. If you wait 3 years, like Bilal said he wants to do, his oldest child is going to be 19 years old. His youngest child is going to be 16 years old, 2 years from being an adult. And at that point, Bilal is saying that, I don't want to start over now, but in 3 years when my oldest 2 kids are basically adults and I'm for the most part done with the worrying about, you're always going to worry, but I'm done with them potentially living in my house and having to deal with it on a day-to-day because they're adults, forging their own path, forging their own life, and I don't have to do that. Yeah, I want to start over. That's what I want to do with my life. No, you don't. Just be clear about it. And that's one of the things that I always rang Bilal's bell about, is that he's not clear of whether he wants to have children or not. But today isn't about Bilal. And this video isn't about Bilal. This video is about Shaida. Shaida, if you ever see this video, girlfriend, you should have been honest with yourself. You don't ever go out and make a baby with somebody who don't want a baby, girlfriend. You don't ever do that. That's what the friends call a dummy do. Because you're making a child with somebody who is promising you basically that they're not going to be there for their child. You're looking at his relationship with the children that he has and the children that he wants. And you're thinking to yourself, oh, okay, yeah, that translates, because if he has a child, he's going to do the right thing by my child the same way he did the right thing by these 2 other kids. The truth of the matter is, Shaida, I'm looking at her and I don't even think he really likes her. But he adores his ex-wife. If we keep in mind and we keep things 100, his ex-wife left him. He didn't leave her. That relationship just didn't break up or break down. She left him. And because she left him, she might be the thing that he still wants. Everybody wants something that they can't have. The wife is something that he can't have. And he very well may still want her, but he settled for Shaida. And that's the way it kind of comes off. Even the way he talks to her and he regards her. Like, you're there as kind of the trophy wife. You're a substitute. Even your name's really. Because you are a substitute and because he doesn't value you the way he values his ex-wife, he may not value the fruit of your loins the way he values the fruit that came from his ex-wife. Those are all considerations that you have to put into play. Not to mention, when you start talking about having children, you want to have an understanding of who's going to do what and how that person is going to approach parenting. Now, when they were sitting there doing the pro-con list, I got to tell you, Shaida, I was riding with her. I was like, she was honest. She was telling him from the beginning what it was. He knew what the deal was. He went ahead and did it. Kind of what I said earlier in the video. But the truth of the matter is, girlfriend, your reasons are kind of dumb. The love will make things better. Shaida, you like sleeping 10 hours. Oh, I mean, if you chain the baby will sleep. No. As a parent, I'm telling you that all the training in the world. Like, I was very good about assigning bedtimes and having the child down at a certain time and all that. I'm very good about that. But when push comes down and shove, the baby gonna do what the baby gonna do. You gonna get up. There's gonna be a lot of sleepless nights. And to be honest with you, with children, raw dog straight up, if you gonna talk to any parent out there who knows and is in the know and still remembers, you don't sleep good until maybe about the child is about 4 years old, 3-4 years old. That's when you kind of get them into that rhythm of going to bed on time and they kind of sleep throughout the night. Anytime before that, they could get up, be asking for water at 3-4 o'clock in the morning. You got to be up at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and they'll come in there at 4:30, wake you up, stoned out of your sleep. Could you change my diaper, please? Or I'm a little thirsty. You passed the bathroom on your way in here to get me. What are you doing? So there's always that. There are always going to be issues and problems. Late nights when the child's not feeling well, missed days. Like, a lot of the stuff that Bilal says isn't wrong. Like, there are, being a parent is a great job and it's a rewarding job, but it's a very hard job. And what makes it hard and difficult is that for the most part, you have to take a lot of the things that you may want to do for yourself, the selfish little things, the quiet moments in the morning, sleeping in late, going to bed late and possibly getting up late. All that has to take a back seat to what you have to do. So if you have a baby at home, you can't stay out all night. If you have a baby at home and even if you have a babysitter and you can stay all night, it's not advisable that you stay out all night and you drink all night because you got to get up in the morning because you got kids to do. So when you start taking that kind of thing into account, having children is a very serious undertaking, and these guys can't even communicate past whether they want to even try to have children. So if you can't get past the conversation of whether you want to even try to have children and come to an agreement on that, then how in the world are you going to come to an agreement on how you're actually going to do the children? And that's where the whole idea of having isn't the same as wanting. Now, some of the things that kind of piqued my interest was during the conversations that Bilal and Shaida was having with the doctor, it came out that Bilal was actually using protection, which is ironic because apparently Veronica and Natalie from Single Life don't care about protection, but Bilal is actually in a full marriage and he's still using condoms. But whatever's clever. He wants to be sure that he's not impregnating Shaida. Now, one of the things that I will share with you, ladies and gentlemen, if you are sleeping with somebody and they want to have a child and they're dead set on having children, that is somebody that you really have to reconsider your sexual activity with. Why? Because there's so many ways that they can circumvent what you think is a protection. There are so many ways that if a woman decides that she wants to get pregnant and you are really taking every precaution, which is beyond just prophylactic, there is no way that you can 100% protect yourself against somebody who is consistently working against you. Your enemy is in the house, brother. If you are having sex, if you notice, there was a time when the doctor had asked, have you guys started trying to have kids yet? Have you tried to get pregnant? And of course, Shaida said, yeah, we started trying. But I was like, no, we didn't. I'm using condoms. Brother, maybe you aren't using condoms. And maybe them condoms ain't as strong as you think they are. Because she could be in there poking holes in them, pin pricking them bad boys. She could be putting them in the microwave. Anything. You could finish, throw it, tie it off, throw it in the trash, thinking you done. Okay, ain't no way he getting out of that. Then all of a sudden she, excuse me. Then she, get quiet, because Shaida, she's very quiet. Oh, excuse me. And she go, I gotta go to the bath. I gotta go to the lavatory. And she go to the bathroom, take that trash can with her, and she in there drinking it. You understand what I mean? Like she in there doing the turkey baster. 3 months down the line, 2 weeks, a month, 2 months down the line, she come back talking about, oh, remember, it was accidents and mishaps. And so I consider that trying. Some of those accidents aren't accidents, they're on purposes. This is part of the reason why you want to have a clear understanding as to what you are trying to do and what you're not trying to do. And you want to make sure that you're laying down with people who respect your opinion. So if you don't want to have kids, they respect the fact that you don't want to have kids, and they don't try to force you to have children by trying to make a decision for you. And in this case, Shaida, as much as she wants a child, I'm not sure she wants a child as much as she wants the goal. Like, it's something that she feels like she has to do, so she's pushing herself to do it. But a lot of the buildup and the actual real work that goes involved with it, I'm not sure she's 100% in tune with, just by her responses when they were doing the pro-con list. And it's easy to dismiss that. Now, Bilal, being a person who has experience, he could literally sit down and have a conversation with her and coach her and tell her, like, look, these are things that you have to consider. And this is stuff, and we actually have a real conversation about it. But for everybody to sit there and pretend like you just going to kind of work on your own little goals separately and everything is going to be okay, you will find yourself in a horrible situation. That's my take. I'm James. This has been my take on reality. And I'm out. 'Cause I've been living life right like I